We walked across the driveway and up the slope, where a view of the vast meadows unfolded. There was a circle of maybe 30 or 40 people, and John Soaring Meadow was in the center. He turned to watch us approach, and so did the audience. Uma led me into the circle where John took my hand. This is Diana Falconer, the woman I spoke of to you. She is called Moana by Uma, the little one. One by one they got to their feet and stood silently as John walked me around the circle. I saw Ampelia and Anoka and several of the men who had guarded my cottage last summer. They all nodded and smiled as I passed by, and John called out their names. A tall, black-haired man stepped forward, and I knew he was Uma's brother. He had the same pointed nose and broad cheekbones and flashing green eyes. He looked at me deeply and smiled. "I am Stephen Hawke," he said, melting my heart. He reached out and touched my face, feeling the mold of my bones under his fingers. "They say you saved my life," I said, gazing up at him. He was at least 6'4", maybe taller, and built like a long, lean cat. He wore a simple gray t-shirt that said Stanford and soft old jeans with bare feet. I felt my heart pounding. "I would like to take credit for such a deed, but it was these people and my sister who saved you. I only helped to diagnose your condition." I stood very straight in front of him, aware that 40 pairs of eyes were watching us. He took my shoulders and turned me around. "May I look?" he asked. "Yes, of course," I said. I was afraid he might pull up my dress, but instead he ran his hands over my back and down my spine. He examined each vertebrae with his nimble fingers and encircled my hips with his hands. There was complete silence as the family watched him turn me around and feel my neck. Somewhere in the distance, a falcon shrieked, and I closed my eyes. This was like a dream. Finally, Stephen stood back and raised his hands to the sky. He chanted a string of words several times, and they echoed him. Everyone stood with their hands raised and sang out across the meadow. They ended with a shout and roared their approval. "You are well today," said Hawke, and kissed my nose lightly. "The gods have blessed you, Diana Falconer."